How do Holocaust deniers refute the eyewitness and video testimony of concentration camps? When I hear Holocaust denier, it sounds to me like they are denying its existence, but Holocaust denial also encompasses denying the scale of the Holocaust. I think most deniers fall into the latter category. Everything I don't like is fake. Everything I don't agree with is fake. Everything that hurts my feelings is fake. There is a global conspiracy to make me feel bad. A lot of Holocaust deniers can't call them that in this case. Just simply don't believe it was 6 million Jews. They believe it happened. But that the numbers are inflated. I've heard 500,000 to 4 million. But they just don't believe 6 million were killed. It's called denial. Very hard to overcome in a human mind. My grandfather fought in WW2. He entered one of the concentration camps. Big strong Ukrainian bear of a man. But still cried whenever he talked about what he saw until he died an old man in 2009. This was the same old man who wouldn't flinch if you aimed a gun at him. But cried talking about the human suffering he witnessed in that camp. Tell me he was lying. I dare you. He was conservative Republican most of his life. But his views began changing as he got into his 70s and 80s. I'm happy he passed away before he could see the Trump era and all these idiots in our country supporting the hate. Easy. Hate hampers your ability to reason or pay attention to evidence. It's a powerful emotion that blinds and blunts your reasoning faculties. My fingers are in my ears and I am humming loudly, so I can't hear you. The same way flat earthers refute the eyewitness testimony of airline pilots and astronauts. They just choose to ignore any facts that contradict their opinion. It's funny how the number of deniers or those criticizing the scale of it is growing as the last few eyewitnesses die of old age. Soon you'll hear the argument no one alive today saw it happen. So how can you be so sure? A standard strategy is to say it's impossible to bury so many people on the grounds of the camps. Forgetting the burn pits is their secret superpower. As a Jew, it's almost funny to see their reactions. If I ask them to please tell me where I can find the 7-8 of my father's family that died in the camp. As a German, it's between funny and infuriating. 'Cause the camps had external areas for workers. A little lake built by inmates is 2 minutes away from my home. We live between the very visible remains of the Holocaust. Their denial is based on their racism and hate. Rwanda still denies genociding the Tutsi people and that happened in 1994, 29 years ago. People deny a genocide they participated in and witnessed. The same way flat eartherness denies proof of our planet having any shapes other than being a flat surface on top of a flying tortoise. They're lying, exaggerating, making it up. It's one of the few things I'll slap someone over. I'm not even Jewish, but there are some things you don't play with. Saying the Holocaust never happened is one of them. No idea. I've visited Dachau once and Auschwitz twice. No denying what has happened. Auschwitz used to have a room that had massive amounts of human hair behind glass. Now it is no longer there. As gruesome as it was, I think it should have remained. A visual reminder of the horrors that happened. No idea why it was removed. I think at that point they changed the goalposts from "it didn't happen" to "it was hugely exaggerated." I never met one. In Germany you may go to prison for that. They deny the numbers. And the almost were Jews. Not that PPL were put in concentration camps. Deniers says that Jews inflate the numbers and make themselves the exclusive victims. They don't. They're stupid. Deniers supporters. I honestly don't know. My grandpa visited Dachau concentration camp with his parents and my mom sometime in the 70s or 80s. And afterward he still kept denying the Holocaust happened. I also don't know if he changed his mind since or if he just doesn't talk about it anymore. Anyone who denies the Holocaust honestly needs to be checked out. I think there should be a charity where people donate. This charity will fly the people who don't believe in it out to Germany, Austria and Poland and take them to all the concentration camps and museums. A lot of schools in the UK do trips to Berlin to show all the students it. They call it fake or lies or do not even engage when it is brought up. No rational person would deny the Holocaust happened. Meanwhile, Israel is committing war crimes against Palestine. But that's okay because they are in the Promised Land and only Jews have a claim. Everyone else must die or stay out. The irony and hypocrisy is heartbreaking. Nationalism is a disease. Yet it has existed for the entire history of humanity. The human race has barely evolved beyond tribalism, and in many places it is just pure barbarism. I imagine they admit that some camps exist. They just deny how extensive it was and how many people were murdered. People deny scientific facts they can prove at home. They just believe it's all fake. Most people deny the numbers of executed prisoners and the ideology behind it, not the Holocaust in itself. I've heard some who say a lot of people died in the camps but that it was from typhus, not gas. As if that would make it better. They don't care about the truth, they care about their fed-up agenda and will lie to achieve it. I could be wrong. But I don't think idiots care about things like facts. Fascists don't have time for facts. They start with the conclusion, develop the premise from there, then come up with evidence. Because they do it in this order. They need evidence, no matter how flimsy, nonsensical, or clearly faked. And since they already know the conclusion, they reject evidence to the contrary offhand as part of a larger conspiracy. Check out the film, Denial. It's a true story about one of the biggest Holocaust deniers out there. Not only that, the Nazis pretty much did most of the bookkeeping. They might have lost a few 100,000 here and there, but in general their numbers are good enough to easily qualify what they did as a Holocaust. Same way Biden and crew say there's no problem at our southern border. Proof denies faith. Simple, they don't want to believe them, so they just don't. Didn't happen. They just ignore evidence that refutes what they want to believe. Most people do the same in one aspect of their life. Granted, not in such an obviously malicious way. You would think that people who want to exterminate Jews would be proud of something like that. There is none. You just say there is some. If there was some, you would have presented it, rather than just saying it exists. Get wrecked, sheeple. They hate others so much that they want to make committing genocide easier. Grandfather is a Holocaust survivor. Have his paperwork. Is alive and tells me stories. So I don't know. Oh boy, they must be using a time-traveling denial machine. It's like magic, but with extra delusion.